Bear with me, because I just want it. That's better. It's fine having it all loud, initially, but when we're actually going to be talking, we need to lower it. Can you guys hear me okay? Gim?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, hey, it's nice for all three of us to be on. It's awesome. It's as if the planets aligned, the constellations, the heavens opened up.
Where's the money,
magically...
Lebowski? Where's the money, Lebowski?
It's a special episode.
Where's the fucking money, shithead?
It's down there somewhere. Let me take another look.
Thanks for the tip. That's funny. Right, so how you guys doing anyway?
Less talk and more action.
Yeah, good. I'm good.
I'm in pain.
Yeah, Gim's not doing too well this evening at all, is he?
No.
Oh, well. Well, we shall just have to soldier on best we can then. Right, so this is my first bit of news is actually... I somehow missed this last week. I guess it's just been a case of being busy with other things and not having my finger on the pulse. But it's to do with the Division. And today, in fact, the Division update 1.8.1 had been released. So I'd sourced this from VG247, and so basically it was talking about update 1.8.1. And so what happened in version 1.8.1, which did just drop today, was that basically, it added the Xbox One X. Got no audio, Marcus? Well, that's strange. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, basically, added Xbox One X support. So basically for the Xbox One X, the enhancements, it's got 4K rendering, it's got a higher level of anisotropic filtering, improved reflections, object detail, and overall pretty cool. Now, yes, I don't have a 4K display, but I booted it up today just to have a little bit of a look, and yes, I mean, the difference visually was amazing. You could actually see, get this, Jay, the textures on your player's, the material on his uniform, or whatever, was pretty stunning. And in the world itself, I mean, it wasn't a horrible looking game to begin with. It certainly looks nothing like when it was first revealed at E3 all those years ago. But, it was already a good-looking game. But now it's just that little bit better. And Marcus, my good friend, he is, of course, playing it in 4K with HDR. And he said it's absolutely gorgeous. So he did. But aside from the graphical changes that the 1.8.1, that's the Division we're talking about. The update actually made a lot of changes to the way that classified gear works. Because now the special vendor actually has a classified gear cache that guarantees one classified gear piece. I took a look earlier, and I think it was about 2,500 Phoenix credits for one of those. So they are pretty damn expensive, but at the same time, you are getting a guaranteed piece of classified gear. And then it's also the same with the global events. They're changing those. Remember how you'd save up so many global event tokens, and you could either get two different tiers of cash. I think one was a standard, the other was a superior. Well, now they've got these super expensive, I think it was around 3,000 global event tokens for a per classified gear set cash. So if you want, like Jay, if you want a piece of Strikers, they actually have, a Strikers classified cache. So you're definitely going to get a piece of classified Strikers, just maybe not the piece that you want. But so it's pretty neat what they've done there. They've also changed the way exotic loot drops. All exotics have now been added to open world bosses. They removed the premium vendor exotics from the open world loot pool, as well as the exotic caches. And they've also increased a lot of the drop rates, because that was one of the biggest complaints after 1.8. Yes, 1.8 had all sorts of great loot and whatnot, but at the same time, the drop rate seemed really, really low. I know I'm still trying to get a, the Ninja Messenger bag or the Ninja Bike bag. Still haven't had the luck of getting one of those. But anyway, classified drop rate chances have been increased in all locations. Legendary missions now have a 20% chance to give a classified gear, a piece of classified gear as a reward at the completion of the mission. Season Pass supply drops, which, let's be honest, those were like one of the most useless things that have been kicking around. Now they have a 10% chance to drop classified gear. And same with survival caches, they now have around a 10% chance to drop classified gear. So some great changes. It's nice. It's probably not enough to bring a lot of people back. Because, when it came to the Division community, it was very, very divided. A lot of people were hyped up for the game, felt that it didn't deliver, and over time they've went through several updates, and it has gotten progressively better. Oh, yeah, see, that was a good call, Marcus. Waiting to do it until today. But yeah, it just kind of, it's had its ups and downs, but they're really trying their best to give the game a bit of support, try to update it the best they can. But, I think a lot of the community as well is now just kind of waiting and looking forward to the Division 2, which, what, guys, any kind of, expectations of the Division 2? What are we hoping?
I'm hoping it doesn't pull a Destiny.
It's horrible that that is now actually a freeze. And whenever you say that phrase, we instantly know what you mean.
The fact of the matter is, though, it's the same team. Like, they haven't got, from what I'm aware of, two separate dev teams almost. So I expect it'll be very good. And I expect they'll just carry on the improvements they've made, especially with, if you look at how Division 1 was day one compared to what it is now, it's taken a massive improvement, and I'm hoping they're going to carry that on. I look forward to what new sort of stuff they add, because I'm sure they're not just going to keep almost the same sort of missions around, or basically not just go, here's a bunch more stuff. I'm hoping they're going to add a lot more things. That's my expectations, is what they're going to do about talents. They're going to add new ones, they're going to reset them, and they're going to make them completely different. Skill trees, weapons. Are they going to introduce new weapons? Unless I'm mistaken, there's not things like RPGs or anything, is there, in Division?
Yeah.
Or big heavy weapons. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it, to be fair. I haven't played Division in a long time, and I think part of the reason I haven't gone back to it is just because I feel like I'm so far behind, even though it's easy to gear up.
It is.
I will probably be picking up Division 2, though.
You would catch up fairly quickly. You would.
And I expect that we playing Division 1 back when the events come out. They give you stuff for Division 2. That will definitely put me back in for then, at least, I expect.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. I think one of the things for me is I'm hoping that, I feel one of the mistakes with the first one is how they gave us content in kind of a piecemeal way. And I think that's why a lot of people turned their back on it or got tired of it, was that initially, it had a certain amount of content, and we got the underground, and we got survival, and we got last stand. Whereas, if you were to get the game now, if you've never played it before, and you were to get it on a deal, get it on an offer, the amount of content that's in it right now, I would imagine that most gamers or most players would look at it and be like, man, what the hell are people complaining about? This game is full of stuff to do. You know what I mean? Whereas the actual cycle that we went through from launch to now was actually a really long road with a lot of issues, a lot of balance problems. But their final kind of, well, not final, but their current destination, where the game is at now, is it's in a really, really good place. And it's just a shame, when I always see people just kind of throwing it to the side, saying, oh no, it's dead to me. It's similar to like Warframe. The early days of Warframe, yes, were bad. They just were. But that's another game that, as it's progressed, has got so much more, so much into it, and a lot of improvements.
Well, this is exactly what the case, isn't it? It's to say you want it more to go towards that Warframe end of spectrum than the Destiny end of spectrum. Okay, it's hard to say it. But I generally think they will move more towards that Warframe spectrum, because they clearly have learned whilst going along on this because if they hadn't have done there wouldn't be the improvements they put in, and there wouldn't be the communication with the community they have. There wouldn't be the fact they obviously pulled in big time players and other players to test what the game was like and say their feedback and everything. And the fact they've done that does mean they clearly want to take it somewhere good.
Yeah. Oh, Josh, to answer your question about Warframe, I mean, yeah, the problem with Warframe is when you first start it, you have nothing, and you've got to unlock all sorts of things, and it can seem like a very daunting process. But once you kind of get past it, especially if you've got people to play with, if there's a clan that you can join, and get access to some of the items and get through those initial stages of the nothingness, it's fantastic. I mean, they've got some really good quests, a decent amount of story and lore in it, and if you enjoy collecting and grinding, I mean, that game, holy shit, it's got it in absolute bucket loads. And plus, it's actually a pretty fluid game, the combat, being a space ninja. I mean, come on, you're an actual ninja, a ninja warrior, so it would just make sense that you would enjoy, a space ninja game.
There is so much to do in that game.
There is
how much content
there's an absolute huge amount of content in the game. But yeah, so the Division...
play it every day.
Oh yeah, we did. But yeah, so the Division 1.8.1 hit today. Right, next a little bit of tech news that we've talked about this item way back when, and that was the red hydrogen smartphone. When it was first unveiled, it looked quite amazing. It was going to have this 4D holographic technology, and it should have already have came out. But according to newsshooter.com, the red hydrogen smartphone has been delayed until at least the summer. So a bit of a shame there. It was originally going to be shipping in the first quarter of 2018. Whenever you, if you've ever not heard of Red, I mean, Red, they're known for their super high quality cameras, right? I mean, what was it? Linus Tech Tips, they had bought a pair of them, and then all of the bells and whistles, the stuff to go with them, and they spent like $500,000 on these things. They're really, really expensive, so it should come as by no surprise that the phones are going to be quite pricey as well. I mean, just the traditional aluminium version is going to be $1,200, whereas the titanium version is going to be about $1,600. But it is, it's an amazing looking phone, aesthetically pleasing. It's going to actually have a 1440 display, and of course, because it's made by Red, the optics on it are probably going to be fantastic, as well as the you'll be able to put lenses on it and all that. It's a phone that is not for the faint of heart. If anything, it's targeted specifically for prosumers, if that makes sense. Quite a lot of journalists and people that do interviews nowadays actually use their phones. I know over here, I remember someone who's getting interviewed by the BBC, and they were surprised. They were expecting like a big film crew to show up, and no, it was just a guy with a little mini tripod, had like an iPhone or something, put it on, had a boom mic and a lens thing on it, and boom, there you go. Well, the Hydrogen Red is kind of aimed at that type of audience, but it's got this really weird little 4-dimensional hologram thing, which still nobody's seen in person. Nobody has seen the actual image of it. We've only seen the concepts, but it looks pretty cool. But I just wanted to kind of hit on it again, because I know we discussed it way back when, and when I saw that it was delayed, I figured that we might as well make a quick little reference to it.
I'm well glad that's been delayed. I was looking forward to
I mean,
what it was going to look like.
You were getting it. I mean, obviously, $1,600 for a phone. Why not? Sure, it's more than a computer, but hey, it's obviously there's a market for that type of thing.
So I'm looking forward to see what it looks like. Because I've spoken to people about it before. I've been like, have you seen this? And they're like, what? And I'm like, you need to see this.
Yeah,
so I mean, really hope
is. I mean, there's only a tiny little. This isn't really a huge image of it, but I mean, just the way that the backside of it looks. It's just such a gorgeous.
So slick and sleek. It looks beautiful.
I mean, it was
So
the same. Like I've got
good.
a couple of buddies that have the Razer phone, and it's nice to look at. It's aesthetically pleasing, and yes, the speakers, the sound on it is fantastic. But honestly, as a phone, it just isn't really that good. Maybe it's to do with our carriers over here or something, but the amount of times they've had dropped calls or bad connections, and I think even the menus and stuff, they haven't been really pleased about with it.
I think the big problem is to put the tech into a phone like that. It's basically going to become a tablet size, and we don't want to go back to the, as we've noticed, we've gone from the big phones to nice small compact things, and they're slowly just getting bigger again.
Yeah.
Like one of my old phones, for example, can fit inside the screen of my current phone. It's crazy, but yeah, so gutted that was delayed. I look forward to when we get to talk about it in the future one and we get to see what it looks like.
Exactly. I just want to
as long
see.
As it doesn't get delayed again.
I want to see the 4-dimensional screen. This is what I'm interested in, because I've seen like a demo of the concept and it shows like a car sitting on top, and it's just kind of But anyway, it will be quite cool. Other tech news. This is specifically to do with Mixer. Now I'd seen this yesterday. It was one of my good friends who is actually here on Mixer. Let me see if I can do this. It's been ages since I've done this. Let's see if Chronos53, a streamer on Mixer he's actually having some internet issues at the moment, so he hasn't been on for a little while, but he plays through Dark Souls and Bloodborns and all those types of games. Cool guy, really, really chill stream to watch. But anyway, he had tweeted this at me, right? And he's like, dude, check this out. This is pretty cool. So I went search on the internet and I found this article from TechCrunch. And so Microsoft has partnered with Lightstream Studio to bring customization tools to Mixer streamers. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you're familiar with streaming, okay, well, big deal. I mean, look, there's things like StreamJar, there's, Stream Alerts, there's even the Stream Alerts OBS, there's all of these things that are out there. Who cares about another set of customization tools? But this is where it's interesting. This actual partnership between Microsoft and this company, Lightstream Studio, is going to allow Mixer streamers to add images, overlays, transitions, and text to their streams, as well as being able to switch between scenes. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, that's nothing new. I mean, at the moment, this is what I'm using. I use StreamJar, which is a dynamic overlay and allows me to, in my browser, set it the way I want to and all that kind of stuff without having to do anything myself in terms of, drawing it and making a file. So there's stuff out there like that already, So what's the big deal? This is where the big deal is, because with Lightstream Studios, what it actually does is it takes the stream feed, directly from Mixer, puts it through Lightstream, and then sends it back out. Meaning that for those of you out there that don't have a PC, that don't have, OBS or XSplit, you don't have that ability to use the additional software, all you have is a console. This is going to give you the ability to add alerts, overlays, scenes and transitions from streaming from your console. Now, yes, you're going to still have to have access to a computer, a tablet, something to set it all up. And then likewise, if you want to change scenes on the fly, you'd have to have, some type of device like a tablet in order to do that. But it gives Xbox streamers the ability to have all these singing, all dancing, alerts, sub-alerts, all that kind of stuff, whilst they're just streaming from console. So it's going to be pretty cool. If you already use things like Streamlabs, StreamJar, or even TipeeeStream, this service will integrate with all of those. So it's not like you have to set something up. If you've already got those things in place for your bots, you'll be able to just integrate with this and then, make the graphics as you want. So it's pretty cool. It's, it's a big deal for the streamers out there who just stream from their console. I know a lot of them that feel that they're, it sucks. I'd like to take my stream to the next level by having overlays, by having these alerts, but I don't have the money to buy a PC in order to do that. I've just got my console. And this service is going to enable them to actually add all of that additional content to their stream while they're still streaming from console. So it looks pretty darn cool. How it'll work, how it'll turn out, we don't know yet. It's being offered in beta to partners and pro users to test. So I got the notification today. I had thought about testing it out right now, but I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to risk breaking anything. I'll try to check it out sometime in the near future. But, it's pretty cool. Because for a lot of folk, when it comes to streaming, Jay, for example, right? If you want to just go ahead and start streaming, how comfy are you right now with firing up OBS and getting all that stuff set up?
Oh, not at all. I reckon after time with it, I'd be fine, but...
Yeah, you would. Eventually you'd get there. Or even, how do you feel about, is your PC going to have the CPU processing power to be able to do it just fine? These are all... It's not as easy as people think to just jump into, streaming via their PC. Whereas this, is going to allow folk to just use their console, but, go through a web browser, set it all up, get it looking nice, looking professional, and still be able to stream from the comfort of their living room.
I think this is a massive game changer, to be honest, especially with what they've done with it, because as you say, not only does it allow these streams to become almost more professional looking, because as you say, at the end of the day, if you don't have all this knowledge, your streams aren't going to look anywhere near as good as professional streamers as such. And to be fair, that is going to be almost partly a pullback from people going to watch you, because much as it's not the case, first looks are first impressions at the end of the day. If you've got a stream that doesn't look 100% great or poor quality or whatever, they're going to be like, probably not. I think what else is amazing about this is not only does the fact, I don't know if you mentioned it, not only the fact that it allows you, it doesn't the integration will not impact other third-party services, and you can actually link those accounts within the live stream settings.
Yeah.
And just top it off as well, the fact they've actually got a phone app, so you can actually do stuff on your phone with it and everything. It's just amazing. That's brilliant. That is, because I suppose looking at it from multiple points of view, like for me, it's fine. I've got two screens, I can muck around with everything. But if you've just got one screen, you turn it up, sort it out, and then you're on your phone just going through stuff as you need to. And if you suddenly go downstairs and you're like, I'm back in a minute, I can just quickly set this up on my phone, pings it upstairs. You haven't got to worry about taking your PC with you. And I think as a whole, it's fantastic. And I don't know if Twitch has anything like this at the moment. I don't think it does, but I could be wrong on that. I don't massively follow my streaming platforms as such.
Not for this level of integration. Don't get me wrong, they still have all these types of integrations, but as far as streaming directly from console, if you don't have a PC, then you don't get all that stuff. That's always been the thing. And so for many streamers, that has been a hurdle for them. A lot of people feel, and let's be honest, you don't need all that stuff. If you're entertaining to watch, people are going to watch you regardless of if you have alerts and overlays and all that stuff. But I get it. A lot of people feel, like on a personal level, that holds them back, and they see an actual PC that's capable, of being their command center as a hurdle for them. They feel if they want to get to the next level of streaming, whatever the hell that is, they need that. That's their speed bump. And this just totally removes that. A steamroller has now came through, said, nope, you don't need that. When you look at, a lot of folk have, Josh. A lot of folk have felt that level of stress. When you look at, and I know this, it's easy to misconstrue this as some kind of Xbox fanboyism. It honestly isn't. When you look at some of the things that they're doing with Mixer and how now the Xbox can accept, a USB webcam rather than just being limited to the Kinect. The integration that Mixer's trying to do here, the fact that you can stream directly from your console and it has a sub-second delay, you can stream it up to 1080. Which for a lot of people trying to stream at 1080, their computers might struggle to do that. But being able to do all these things from the one, and then same how they've implemented or integrated the Xbox store now with Mixer. I think they're only rolling it out like in test, kind of things. But Jay, like you could tune in a Mixer, see someone streaming a game that you want, and then be able to purchase it right then and there. I know Twitch does that, but Twitch does it in a different way. We're talking about actual integration with the Xbox store via Mixer. So they're making right moves. They're really trying to raise their game. And we'll just have to see how it all turns out, I suppose.
I think what's quite interesting is Mixer is becoming a much bigger platform, I suppose. As such, I think the big problem with the competition with Twitch is it's like if a store tried to compete with Amazon, they're so well, I think the word now for it, put there as such, that it's very hard to be. I mean, if you look at how Mixer is now, if you would have put Mixer and Twitch coming out together with the same progress, do you think there would have been more of a churn in towards Mixer?
I mean, hey Jordan, you're right. It is tricky because like you say, I mean, the pedigree of Twitch, coming from Justin TV all those years ago, and all the kind of development and iterations that it's went through. When Mixer had started, when it was Beam, it was very much a small fish. It was really didn't have much going for it, except for the two key things that were the faster than light technology and the interactivity. Those two things were like, whoa, holy crap. And if anything, that development that Beam had actually, kind of made Twitch raise their game. Because you look at Twitch now and they've got extensions, which is, a form of interactivity, the way that it integrates with things. Their delay has gotten much better than what it used to be. That was another thing that was kind of Mixer made them do. When you look back at if you were a non-partnered streamer on Twitch, your upload limit was 3.5K. Whereas on Mixer, well, back then it was Beam, it was 10K. Sure enough, what happens, Twitch goes, oh yeah, we're actually now going to raise our limit to 6. We'll raise it to 6 for all of our streamers across the platform. It's a constant kind of, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But with what you're saying, if they had came out at the same time, I think we could have been in a very different position. Whereas now you look at Twitch, you're right, Josh. Twitch has really been quite reactive to a lot of what Mixer does. Twitch has a much more massive audience. That's, undisputable, but the way Mixer is going and the way that it's changing is, it'll get there. It'll get there eventually. Well, dude, I mean, okay, right, we're big Destiny fans. Remember, some of the folk that all play together, like Gathalion, Broman, all that stuff. Yeah. Well, the one guy who's the actual coordinator of Guardian Con, who was partnered on Twitch, actually moved to Mixer a few weeks ago. He moved and was instantly... What happened was, as far as I know, and I don't want to spread misinformation, but from my understanding, he was approached and basically, hey, we'd like you to come over to Mixer to spread the positive community you've created on Twitch, and actually gave him a better deal as far as it comes to monetization. So he effectively got an offer he couldn't refuse, came over to Mixer, insta-partnered, obviously, and then his first stream, he blew it out the water. He had thousands. His entire Twitch audience, without batting an eyelid, just said, oh, you're on Mixer? You're going to Mixer? Cool. And they all just came over instantly. And since he's been on Mixer, he's not trying to be mean or anything, but he is kind of honestly saying, holy crap, why didn't I do this sooner? I'm just so happy, to be here.
The thing is, as well, drawing almost... say parallels, but again, like with AMD and Intel, that healthy competition really, really does allow, because you say Twitter's been the big mainstay for however long it's been. It's been the big heavy hitter in streaming, and now the fact it's got this competition, it is suddenly having to improve a lot. So I think it's good for both sides. And definitely Mixer's definitely got that unique selling point of, look, we can stream straight from the Xbox. It's just crazy, great, and especially now all the support they're giving it as well. It's just makes it even better.
All right, it'll be interesting to see how things develop. speaking of things that will be interesting to see how they develop, we haven't talked about Destiny 2 in ages because, let's be honest, it's been somewhat dead in the water. The content creators aren't really playing it. You know, they tried to reinvigorate it a bit with that Go Fast update a few weeks back, and it just hasn't quite worked out for the team at Bungie so far. But this article I found on a GameSpot, and of course this was to do with the Destiny 2 DLC. Warmind finally gets a release date. And we also get a little roadmap, I believe, here, development roadmap of what is going to be going on.
Yeah.
But so, anyway, the next DLC, which, you know, this is bittersweet because we were all suckers and then got the season pass because we'd got, like, the deluxe digital edition. And so the next DLC, DLC 2 Warmind, officially launches on May 8th. So that's only a few weeks away. As far as what details, you know, what Warmind actually consists of, they haven't been shared yet at all. As per usual, Bungie, you know, we know what's going to happen. April 24th, Bungie will do a live stream. They'll give us a little bit of information. Then they'll probably, the next week, do the same again, give us a little bit of information. They do this with every piece of content where, you know, we end up seeing Deej just walking slowly around the new social space or some crap and, you know, showing us little bits and pieces. But the release of this DLC is going to coincide with that of Season 3. And so, you know, the update's going to add seasonal Crucible rankings. It's going to add private matches, an increase to vault space size, support for multiple equipped emotes, exotic weapon masterworks, and then some more. Season 3 is also going to be bringing bounties, a new seasonal event, faction rally improvements, and changes to the exotic armor sandbox. Whereas later down the line, Season 4 will be hitting us in September, which is going to be bringing gear collections, weapon slot changes, and more. And yeah, I agree with you, Josh. You know, when you read it, or hear it, in this case, you know, it's like, oh, wait a minute, that... You know, and so here's my question, G. I know we're going to be checking it out. I mean, I know that. There's no doubt in my mind that, you know, when this launches on May 8th, we'll probably be logging in that day to have a look at it. But from what little we know, is this going to be enough to really suck us back in?
I really don't know, to be honest. I'm just going to very quickly say this as well. It's all well and good being like, oh yeah, Bungie are clearly improving, you know, there's all this communication which has been better over the last 3 or 4 months, I won't deny. My problem is are we going to have the exact same problem with Destiny 3, where they just ignore all this progress they're slowly making? And by progress in this terms, I mean giving us back the stuff we already had in Destiny 1, because that's really what this is. You know, this is, again, Destiny 1 we all saw as a beta test. This is basically a beta test again, because they've tried stuff that clearly hasn't worked. The fact that they're going back, we don't know what they're going to do with the random rolls or something, because I know they are apparently bringing this back. The fact they've had to go back to that is crazy. It's just ridiculous. It would not surprise me if suddenly we see next year an update saying, oh, we're going to bring back the primary, secondary, and heavy slots. It would not surprise me. But in terms of what they're doing, yeah, it looks like it's going to be good improvements. From a PvP point of view, personally, the ranking Crucible seems pretty cool. The fact they've gone back on their whole entire, you know, you have to own a DLC to have maps. But again, I think they've only gone back on that because of the huge backlash they got when Curse of Osiris came out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've got mixed feelings about it. I mean, a lot of folk were salty about how, oh, this is crap, you know, content is locked unless you have that DLC. But I mean, they did the same thing with Destiny when those things had first came out. So I don't understand why people were super salty about that. But yeah, you know, I agree with you that that's pretty cool how now, you know, the way it'll be is that the Crucible content, you know, the maps themselves will be available to all players regardless of whether or not you own the DLC. So yeah, that is pretty cool.
As for the other stuff, we'll see again. Let's quickly bring this up.
What about you, Gim? Is it enough?
It looks like by September we might get Destiny 1 in our Destiny 2.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Might actually get Destiny 1.
Woohoo!
have a game again. Yay.
So
Not a demo.
obviously in September it says weapon slot changes. Now, what do they mean by that? Because that's quite ambiguous for my. I mean, that could literally be, as I said, they could suddenly go, you know what, we're going to suddenly put snipers into a set. We're suddenly going to come back to primary, secondary, heavy. As Joe said, is this going to be a year of we tried something, it failed miserably, let's go back to Destiny 1?
Yeah, it very well could be.
What it feels like.
Oh man,
What gets to me is the weapon randomization. After going so long saying, "Oh yeah, we're taking away all these random weapons, so you know what you're up against."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's just actually go through
after release, they're gonna bring it all back.
what they have done. So seasonal crucible rankings, that's pretty cool. Actually, I'm quite excited for that. Definitely, it's something a lot of games do, and I feel Destiny are pushing themselves into that tier there with that. Private matches, that was in Destiny 1, that should have been released launch day.
Yeah.
Vault space increase, something again should have been done. I don't understand how this hasn't been done. I can understand a lot of people slate them being, oh, you know, why can't they fix their systems and their programming and everything? And I understand that, you know, it's hard, you got to test stuff. Something you change could break something else, but this should have been in their minds again straight away. Multi-emote, it's been asked for so long. Again, that don't really see that exciting, to be honest. Yeah, it's great, don't get me wrong, but
yeah, no, I agree, Josh. The ranking, I think, will. I mean, there's a lot of things like that. I mean, with the private matches as well, that was really good for people who want to set up leagues, you know, or even like, you know, when you think of big events and stuff, you could end up having, you know, a Destiny 2 kind of PvP section at the event where they all just join up and make private matches. So yeah, it's, you know, the PvE players were pretty pissed off with Destiny 2. I mean, because we thought it was cool, right? I mean, the raid was fun. It was.
Oh yeah.
The storyline was decent. It was cool. But then we got to that point where there was no reason to go back and do any of it all over again. And PvP, I think, has been even more complicated for the PvP lovers out there because it's just been lacking for them in all regards. I mean, like even Trial of Osiris, the way that's worked, you know, the hardcore PvP folk they've not been happy at all.
I'll having a look at the change. What I'll tell you something that annoys me a little bit is the fact that I can understand PC getting the chat, as they've said, but why a console's not?
Yeah.
Because I understand the fact that obviously it's a lot harder to type on a console and whatnot, but this is where I come back into this. So if you look at how many...
Well, Microsoft's bringing in keyboard support.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Xbox
But you look at the amount of like APIs and stuff that you can have, not hack into, but get into Destiny. You know, the fact you can change your items around, you can do all this. Why not have an app where you can type?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been plenty. I mean, look at oh god, what was it? The that Neverwinter MMO.
Yeah,
there's an Xbox. You got full, you know, it's just the same chat as like what World of Warcraft had on an Xbox title. So we know they could do it. I don't know if maybe it's just a case of they
look at Warframe as well.
Yeah, Warframe. Maybe they're just. I give up. Right, I've stopped trying to figure them out because. It's exactly. Just sometimes you just don't understand their reasoning at all. It just, like you say, Destiny got to a nice point, and then we expect Destiny 2 to be this next generation of it, but instead it was a complete regression that looked awesome, and then we're just slowly getting drip-fed features that most of the community feel were stolen from them in the first place. But
well, this is where my big thinking of the future major concern comes from, because I think a lot of people, when you look at it this way, is can they be trusted again? They took all this stuff away. Destiny. I understand Destiny 2 was in development for a long time, and to be fair, it did also get revamped. But the fact that there was, from what we're aware of, no communication between Destiny 1 and 2, and look how that's ended up. I don't want the same thing happening to Destiny 2 to Destiny 3.
Yeah, we'll just see. But no, yeah, Marcus, know what you mean. I mean, it was a game that wasn't even really on my radar until the day before it came out. I saw on Twitch, the PlayStation channel was doing an early stream of it. I was like, oh, that actually looks pretty cool. And so I just went ahead and bought it, and then the rest was history. I absolutely, loved it. It was scratching at an itch that I'd had for a long time as an ex-World of Warcraft player. I had been avoiding MMOs for years because they just sucked me in. And I was just what I would have considered a casual console gamer who used to just like pick something up, play a little bit, and then move on. But then when Destiny came along, it was like having an MMO all over again, and just kind of sucked me in. And then, of course, I got to meet folk like Jay and Gim that, you know, we all met through Destiny, and years later, we've, you know, we're real life friends. We'd met up last year down in London. They were supposed to be coming up here at some point.
Yeah,
bastard.
that's the pipeline. Don't worry.
When I'm not sick and broke. I will.
See, and it's like I told you, whenever my significant other, when she was like, well, how come they haven't came up? I was like, oh, well, this, that, and this. And I was like, well, you know, and of course, you know, guys were worried about money and stuff. She's like, oh, didn't it be daft? You know, that they should know they don't have to worry about that. I'm like, I know, but come on, if the shoe was under our foot, we would be the same way. You know, if we went to visit someone, you know, it's always the same. They would try to pay our way and everything, but it's that sense of pride, you know, so totally get it. Not a problem. Not a problem.
I think it's you to drive me up there, so I'm going to have to...
That's, yeah. Well, the thing is, you'll be waiting on Jay. I mean, and Christ knows.
I mean, on the plus side, you won't have to worry about
2019
paying out there, will you? So, you know, there's always the positives, isn't there?
Yeah.
Don't you misuse my words, Josh.
Quickly, take them up, go!
Right, let's see. Oh, yeah, something I want to talk about really quick was this week marked the 1-year anniversary of the website, www.scholarlygamers.com, and I'll tell you what, it got a new lick of paint, thanks to our head of IT, Marcus, and it's looking nice. It's looking sexy. If you've ever heard that saying, once you go black, you never go back, I mean, come on, this is evidence of that. You know, it's just, it's gorgeous. The way, you know, we've still got a nice layout here at the top, you know, with the latest things that have came out. Then we've got featured articles and reviews. We've got some nice social links here. We can go to SG and Twitch and, you know, have a look, see who's actually online right now. We've got a full directory of all of the streamers. If we go to video content, we've got a really cool feature here where, yes, we've got the latest posts that have all came up, but then also at the top, we can actually go to, you know, as I say, if we want to see Armchair Gaming, we can just click on that, and we have the entire playlist embedded right there for us. So pretty damn cool. And if I don't mind saying it myself, the video just looks better, in my opinion. Embedded on the site, so pretty neat. But so anyway, Marcus had made a lovely article that was celebrating the 1 year of Scholarly Gamers, and you know, so you can go to the website, check that out. But it was just really, really nice to see some of these amazing milestones. You know, whether it was getting our first code sent to us by a developer, or likewise our first live blog covering E3 back in 2017. The, of course, invitation to real actual gaming events, our video series, you know, plenty of great stuff there. And of course, hey, we've got to have a mention of Jungle Drums, the 50th episode. But anyway, you know, I just wanted to make that a highlight of the show because I like that, Jay. You didn't even realize it was the site.
I generally didn't.
That is, yeah. I mean, that's how, you know, I thought that the site looked great beforehand. You know, I really, really did. Very aesthetically pleasing, easy to navigate, easy to use. But, you know, now after this change, it's just, you know, absolutely awesome. I mean, it just really, really looks good. And the amount of work he put into it, because I almost witnessed it firsthand, you know, these 14-hour days he was putting in while he, you know, he's trying to kind of troubleshoot things and set it all up. You know, he put a lot of work into it, and it's looking really, really good.
I just love it because it's dark theme. I absolutely love dark theme.
Yeah, you've got to have dark theme. You know,
it's so nice. It's so pleasing to the eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
It is very good.
Well, that's the thing too, and you know, Jay's a coder himself.
Not a massively great one at the moment, to be fair, but I'm getting there.
I love that.
Before I start getting loads of jargon from them, I'm like, yeah, I know that.
Hey, it doesn't matter. I got a job. Even so I'm rusty as hell, they don't know that. My CV looks great.
But that is why I love Dark. Anything I do, and I'm like Darkwing straight away. I don't want to be looking at a white screen.
See, because you and Marcus could actually talk about crap. Because remember, what was your final project at uni? What was it? Wasn't it procedurally?
I did procedurally generated terrain in. Well, it was crappy XLA Studios for Visual Studio at that time. Because, uni making us use outdated technology. Good times. Yeah. Been a long time. I think I'd have a go at that again at some point, but...
Yeah, see, Marcus did procedurally generate amazing Unity.
You see, he got to use something cool though, like Unity.
Well,
Unity.
Well, it's because he's over in Canada, that's where they've got the money and stuff, whereas down here,
it's not fair.
you were more worried about not getting stabbed at uni,
Well, to be fair, it was Bristol. I mean, it's all right.
Yeah, no, Unity's good. Unity's good.
I don't remember how old Unity was when I was digressing. How old it was when I was at uni.
It's the politics.
Yeah, the politics. That's what it is, Marcus. It's the funding. It's yes, they could use free software, even open source, but because of the bureaucracy over here, oh no, they have to use this and they have to pay this person, and
I'm going to quickly bring this up whilst talking about this. So there was a tool we used in our first year of uni called Virtools. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's essentially like a almost like a game development platform, like scripting, almost like how Unreal does it.
Oh yeah.
Where you can you almost use your building blocks. Anyway, this tool was so old that not only did we have to hack our ways getting into it, there was no longer any support for it. And it's like, why are we using this? I can understand they were trying to build us up for Unreal, but it's like, just give us Unreal. Just why?
Yeah, not nice.
Yeah, no.
I hear that. I mean, that was like, we had the same crap at school. I mean, you can imagine, okay, like in an educational setting, whenever you set up the internal network and try to deploy the software, you effectively have to take a snapshot and be like, okay, everything works at this moment in time with these versions, and trying to introduce more updated stuff and whatever can sometimes create a lot of headaches, because we went through that last year. They decided to take us to the next iteration of the Java for Android, and it just broke like everything. And then even this year, like one of our labs, when it came to some of the Cisco stuff, it just created so many issues, so many problems. Right, one final bit of news, and this is actually a game that we had discussed this ages ago. I had to ask Gim about this, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, yeah, we talked. This was definitely on the menu at some point." But I sourced this from PC Gamer, and this is about Dauntless. The Dauntless open beta begins in May, and so far over 700,000 people have signed up for the open beta. Because I'm pretty sure, I don't know if all of us did, but I'm sure Gim and I at least had signed up for this way back when.
I even got to try it.
I can't remember if I did or not.
Probably not, Jay.
No,
yeah,
I'm terrible when
probably
it comes to signing
not.
up for
We
things.
probably mentioned it. It was probably after we mentioned the sign up for Sea of Thieves way back when, and you never bothered your arse doing that either.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, this was the big co-op action RPG about turning giant monsters into stylish hats. Which, there's already a game that does that I really thoroughly enjoy. But Gim, you had brought up the really good point whenever this was announced, right?
Yeah, when this was announced, no one knew of Monster Hunter World. That wasn't announced. But now we've got Monster Hunter World, and this is only just anything out in beta. And I like the look of Dauntless. It looks nice, but I don't think it's going to be as in depth as Monster Hunter is. Clearly, because it hasn't got all that sort of pedigree behind it.
Yeah, I mean,
Monster Hunter's had what generation is it? It's like its 6th generation now. So
yeah,
they've had lots of time to work on the formula and bring in monsters forward.
I mean, can you refresh my memory with Dauntless? Was it coming to all platforms? Was it PC, PS4, and Xbox, or was it
eventually? But I think it was PC first and console later, maybe. But
okay.
I might not even be certain on that. I don't know.
Because what interests me is that, okay, if the beta starts on May 24th, how much longer after that are we looking at the game releasing? Because the complication I can see is, now it'd be one thing if this game was already out right now on PC. Because if it was, it would be tapping into a sector or a market that there's quite nothing like it. Because on PS4 and Xbox, yes, we've got Monster Hunter World. But later on this year, Monster Hunter World's coming out on PC. So this is where I'm interested, or if not slightly worried. Is there going to be a race to see what comes out first, Dauntless or Monster Hunter World for the PC gamers? And, if Monster Hunter World beats them to the punch, is that going to result in Dauntless just being ignored?
Yeah, it's a good chance. But it is, it's looking like PC only at the minute.
Okay. And as with a lot of these games, as you can imagine, you can get access to the closed beta right away if you purchase a Dauntless Founders Pack, which are priced anywhere between $40 to $100 and include, an exclusive in-game title, a forum icon, Founders Flair, consumables, and other items. Yeah, no, you're right, Josh. Monster Hunter World is already awesome. The Spring Blossom event that's going on right now is pretty darn cool. And it's like, I could see Dauntless doing well if it filled that void. Like, say if Monster Hunter World wasn't coming to PC until next year, and this came out, like, this summer, if Dauntless comes out this summer, I think it could take advantage of that. It could really capitalize on the void. But on the other hand, if the release date of this, like if the final release isn't actually until around the same time or even after the Monster Hunter World release on PC, I honestly think they're going to be struggling.
I really do feel they're going to have to really try and push to get out before, as you say, Monster Hunter World does come out on PC, because that will be a very big set of competition for them.
Yeah, no, I think that is their main. Don't get me wrong, it does have a very different. Different.
There's one other aspect to this as well. It's also going to be free to play.
Well,
so it will probably do all right then.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Of course, it's a free to play game, so it's not an apples to apples, I suppose. But
if you look at, let's try another example. Overwatch and Paladins. Very, very similar games.
Yeah.
Paladins is doing well purely because it's free to play.
True. And then I suppose
which one I prefer.
I suppose the graphical style too, if we have a quick peek here, this graphical style is what's kind of in at the moment. Things like Fortnite and even that game Extinction that I was playing, had a very kind of similar.
Yeah, they have pushed very much those sort of like cartoony graphics, haven't they, a lot recently, as you say.
Well, the thing is, whenever a game does that, what it allows them to do is they can still make a game look really good without it being as as demanding on hardware.
Yeah.
Because that's what I found with Extinction, right? When I fired that game up, and I was actually wondering, I was like, ooh, am I going to be able to play this at max, ultra settings, and everything? And sure enough, yeah, it played absolutely fine. It just had a lot of headroom, I think because it was a DirectX 11 game, though, as well, rather than, a 12. But yeah, now the cartoony stuff does, come and go. It's just, I think as Gim says, it's free to play. So, yeah, folk will try it. Folk will absolutely try it. I just wonder if, it'll actually thrive. Compared to, I'm trying to think how to phrase that. Would I rather play this free-to-play game and spend a little bit of money to get some cool stuff in it, or actually just pay full retail to play Monster Hunter World? I think it's going to be there'll be an audience for it, but
I think there'll be enough people to keep it going if it's free-to-play.
Yeah. At least they're beginning right off the bat with it being free-to-play rather than some of the other games we've seen that have unfortunately
Yeah.
started off
They also-
retail.
They also
Evolve.
did something else. Evolve is dead now. But yeah, the devs behind Dauntless also did a good thing recently because it did have loot boxes.
Oh,
They are the in thing. And then, like, very recently, they just basically turned around and went, oh yeah, we're just getting rid of loot boxes. Or we're just using standard microtransactions as our model, not loot boxes.
that's
So,
fair enough. It's work
That's
for
combined some
Warframe.
goodwill. Warframe's never had a loot box.
It's true.
Except the ones you smash in game with your big sword.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Damn loot boxes.
You're right, Josh. I mean, good God, if I actually think how much money I've spent on World of Tanks, Warframe, which are both free-to-play games,
Yeah.
or if we have a look at Jay and how much he spent in League of Legends.
I don't know what you were on about at all.
Back when I used to play Smite.
Yeah,
League of Legends.
we've all done it. We've all, you know,
Money
it's free-to-play
Steam
games are
USA.
actually some of the most expensive games out there.
They're not free to play. It's a lie. They are not free to play at all.
Oh, they are for people with self-control.
Yeah, but you gotta have the things. Look, it's something shiny, and it's nice.
Yeah, every single time a League, a new skin came out, I was like, oh,
They
I really
use
like
words.
that, I'm gonna buy it.
They use words like exclusive. You know, just yeah, free to play. What a misnomer.
Prestige collections. They are prestigious items that must be got. And they all look the fucking same. It's the same skin for every item.
It's true. It's true.
But that though.
Well, gents, it's 10 o'clock. We've been on for about an hour. That's all of our news items, so I think we should call that for this week. But thank you so much for being on. It was very nice
Been
to
good to go do it again.
have the gang together.
Yeah.
So it was.
Even though fate seems to want to stop me being on,
Yeah.
I'm here now.
At least you're here in spirit, Kim. You have a good spirit. You know, as always, hey, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching the VOD of this, either on YouTube or at scholarlygamers.com, thank you so much. Make sure to check out the rest of the site. There's plenty of other things going on. We just had the newest episode of Streaming Fundamentals drop, and of course, next week we should have Armchair Gaming, I believe. Or is it Proof of Console? I'm losing count. Losing count. But anyway, always plenty of content there on Scholar Gamers, so make sure to bookmark that page and check out some of the streamers that are hanging out there as well. Anyway, that is it for this week's episode of Jungle Drums. We will see you again next week, 9 p.m. GMT. Well, actually, it's BST now, isn't it? 'Cause
Yes, it is.
it's
BST now.
British summertime, because the clocks have went
Bullshit
forward.
time is why I call it. But yeah.
Marcus, Josh, everyone else, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. It's been nice to actually do it live for a change, because I know I've been the same the last couple of months. Just like, I'll just record it. We'll just record it. But it's always fun having a bit of interactivity. Anyway, folks, have a good week, and we will catch you next time.
Au revoir.